Hello, my darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, you are so very welcome indeed. I got a message from one of you, and it was rather interesting. I'm going to repeat it right here. It says, all right now, are you still a US citizen or not? Because I have not heard anything from you speaking about what's going on here in America as far as black people. Now get me right, we live in Los Angeles, meeting the upper Los Angeles. So we are not doing bad at all. But what is your stand? Because like you are boycotting everybody else to the list as well. I didn't understand. I did not understand, but I accept the question. Here's the thing. When Trump came back into office, when we were voting, I had asked a lot of Fumi Nation members at the time if you wanted me to kind of dabble into politics, nothing too heavy, but just talk about, you know, what was going on. And they said, absolutely not. We are up to here with politics and about what Trump is doing, this, that, and the third. We want to escape, Fumi. We want to have somewhere where we can laugh, we can talk, we can have fun, and we can talk about other stuff. We can also have fashion, we can have beauty, we can have makeup, we can talk about love, support. And I said, okay. So you might have missed that poll. But having said that, I believe very much that you are also, you know, you have a right. Because this is my channel, but what? It is your show. And so I am going to talk a little bit about what has been going on today. I will start by saying that Charlie Kirk is to be buried today. And it must be extremely difficult for his family. And I would never have wished that on my enemy, let alone Charlie Kirk. Again, I've said it before, there were a lot of things I disagreed with him. A lot of stuff. But we are not animals. And I don't care what party you're on. We can agree to disagree. To be shot the way he was, in front of his wife, in front of his children, of which I felt they shouldn't have even been there, is traumatic. And it very much was an assassination. I've gotten to know a lot more about Charlie over the days and how impactful he was with the male youth, how much he was as an impact in really getting Trump into office. And I still stand by what I say and what I said day one. A lot of things he said were not nice, as far as I'm concerned. There were a lot of things that he said that I did not agree with. But for him, so young, 31, is horrible. It's horrible. No excuse whatsoever. Needless to say, we have the late-time talk show hosts who, of course, talked about it, commented about it, their comics. And we had Jimmy Kimmel, who had talked about it, not necessarily about Charlie Kirk, but the reaction of how Donald Trump responded when questioned on the grounds talking about the ballroom.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns.
And very quickly, he was fired. I thought, what has happened to the First Amendment to free speech? I don't recognize the America today. I don't. I am an American citizen, and I lived there for 20 glorious years before I moved over to the United Kingdom. Still love America will always, my home, always. But I don't recognize the America today. So much has changed. Well, in quick succession, we had, and this part I live and love, Americans started to unsubscribe their Disney network, their Hulu. Take a listen.
I don't know when it's going to hit the news of what happened today, but the blowback from this whole ABC News canceling Jimmy Kimmel Live is historic. Not only are people canceling their Hulu app, their Disney Plus apps, their ABC apps, people are boycotting Marvel, studios, Marvel Comics, movies, and any Disney movie. People are protesting outside of Disney in Burbank today. People are canceling Disney cruises, and people are canceling trips to the Disney parks, Disney World and Disneyland here in California. So screw Disney, screw ABC. You were concerned about the FCC and Donald Trump having power over you. And remember, you make your money off the people, not off the... So that was your mistake, getting scared by the FCC. You should be scared by the people who put food on your table, and that's us. And you're canceled.
Well, follow the money. In August, Nexstar, the largest owner of TV stations, local TV stations in the country, announced that they wanted to purchase their rival Tegna for more than $6 billion. Now, in order for that deal to go through, Nexstar would need the approval of the Federal Communications Commission. And in fact, they would need the FCC to lift the cap, a 39% cap that the FCC has, which is a rule that states no company can own enough TV stations to reach more than 39% of the households in the United States. And this deal going through would violate that cap. The current chair of the FCC, Brendan Carr, he earlier this year said that he would be willing to entertain lifting what he called arcane artificial limits on how many TV stations any one company can own. Okay, so that's where we are. Nexstar wanting to get the FCC's approval, the FCC commissioner making it clear that his mind is open. Today, Wednesday, the FCC commissioner goes on a podcast, a MAGA podcaster, and makes it very clear that he did not like the comments that Jimmy Kimmel made on Monday night. He calls Kimmel talentless. And then he says that it's not just time for Disney to see some change here. Disney owns ABC, but, quote, the individual licensed stations that are taking ABC's content, it's time for them to step up and say, this garbage, to the extent that that's what comes down the pipe in the future, isn't something that we think serves the needs of our local community. So he's calling on local TV stations to reject the Jimmy Kimmel show. That was posted on Twitter, or X, at 1:01 p.m. Wednesday. Within hours, Nexstar makes the announcement that the company's owned and partnered television stations affiliated with ABC will preempt Jimmy Kimmel because they object to recent comments made by Kimmel. And then, shortly after that, ABC television network announced that they were suspending Kimmel's show. And so, while there are no doubt people who are legitimately offended by what Kimmel said, and no doubt tensions are high and feelings are fraught, there is also a lot of money to be made, and there are also a lot of people who want to endear themselves to the FCC commissioner and President Trump.
Hey, I just canceled my Disney Plus and Hulu subscriptions. And they asked me why. I hit other, and I wrote, because I believe in the First Amendment, reinstate Jimmy Kimmel. Now, my whole family is really going to miss Abbott Elementary. We are really going to miss Only Murders in the Building. But you know what? We would miss the First Amendment a whole lot more. Don't go to the theme parks. Don't go on the cruises. Cancel your subscriptions. Now.
To understand the full impact of Jimmy Kimmel's show being pulled off the air, you have to first understand how broadcast television works. Jimmy Kimmel has a staff of about 22 people and hundreds of production folks who work on creating the content that is creating the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. That show is then produced by ABC. ABC then has to work with the distributor, in this case Sinclair Broadcast Company, to get the show onto your television. It was Sinclair Broadcast Media that threatened to not distribute any of ABC's programming unless they pulled the Jimmy Kimmel show. This is the Sinclair Smith family, and Julian, the patriarch of the family, was a pioneer of early broadcast television. Sinclair Media Company controls about 26% of everything that gets aired on television. They are an open and unapologetic conservative family. They donate almost exclusively to the Republican Party. And while the old man passed away in the 90s, the company has been run by his sons ever since. And you can see a little bit more transparently now how this Jimmy Kimmel thing happened. They write that they will not lift the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live on their stations until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. They also want Jimmy Kimmel to issue a formal apology to the Kirk family and to make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA. And they reiterate, regardless of ABC's plans for the future of the programming, hinting that perhaps ABC will just straight up cancel Jimmy Kimmel altogether, Sinclair intends to not return Jimmy Kimmel Live to the air until they are confident that these steps have been taken. In addition to ABC, Sinclair controls the distribution for CBS, Fox, the CW, and NBC. And because of the way that television is set up, they have the right to preempt or refuse to air any show that they don't want to air. Sinclair Media is also a huge lobbyist of the government, constantly trying to break down controls and regulations against media monopolies. They have a very close relationship with Donald Trump himself and many members of the Trump administration. And they've been criticized for decades now for doing this thing called must-reads, where all of the local news channels that they own must read certain content that Sinclair provides. Very often that content includes conservative talking points, conservative politics, or otherwise conservative stories. They are incredibly powerful. I mean, probably the most powerful entity in media, truly. And tomorrow night they plan to air a tribute to Charlie Kirk in the Jimmy Kimmel Live slot. Well, couldn't ABC just move Jimmy Kimmel to another distributor? No, because the other distributor is Nexstar, and they are just as conservative as Sinclair. They also said that they will not air Jimmy Kimmel's show until he makes certain amends with the Kirk family and with this distributor. It's a rock and a hard place, guys. It's Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert now, but could be anybody next.
And I tell you this, my loves. Why am I doing this particular episode? Not because of Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel will be good. As a matter of fact, Jimmy Kimmel, let me tell you this, don't go back. Because prior to when Disney lost how many? 3.8 billion subscribers. Let me read this part because I thoroughly enjoy it. Disney loses 3.5 billion in market value since taking Jimmy Kimmel off the air. Let me see, because I saw it somewhere else that it was more than that. Disney's Plus cancellation page crashes as customers rush to quit after the Jimmy Kimmel suspension. I don't want Jimmy to go back. Don't go back, Jimmy. You know what this is? It means that you get your own website and we will follow and we will subscribe to everything that you got there. Because you just cannot silence people because you don't like what they say. Most especially when I feel that there are a lot of people. Yes, it's right here. Disney has lost 3.87 billion overnight following the Jimmy Kimmel melodrama, and they are unsubscribing from everything. And there is what they call Trump's cancel list. So we have Stephen Colbert, who was cancelled. Jimmy Fallon is also there. We have Seth Meyers, John Oliver, and Trevor Noah. Darlings, find your own independent platforms because as you will listen, they answer to us, not the other way around. You obviously got it twisted. Why am I doing this episode? I'll tell you why I'm doing this episode. Because I don't believe in the violence. I don't believe in destroying things. I believe in letting them feel your dollar. And I say this to my black brothers and sisters. This is exactly what we should do. There's no need for the protesting and all of this horse and pony show. No need. Let them feel the absence of the black dollar, because they've done it right here. And all of a sudden, there are negotiations with Jimmy in how to reinstate his show and everything to get it all the way back on air, of which I'm so irritated, and I hope he doesn't take it, because he was told prior to this that he would have to donate to the Kirk family and to also apologize. But whatever you felt offended by, it was not to the Kirk family, it was to Donald Trump. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I'm very sorry, very, very sorry that he's passed away. But I also didn't agree on a lot of his ideologies. And of course, you have those of which I think is in bad taste. It's disgusting. I mean, come on, you're a human being. Laughing and jubilating at his death. What's wrong with you? That I don't support. Not at all. But you cannot take away the First Amendment. Why? What's wrong with you also? And so I just see everything going up in flames. I am hearing there are no jobs. People are losing their jobs. It's a very hard time. And people are losing their patience and people are angry. I see what's going on. And because of this wonderful message that I got here, I'm going to be talking about a couple of things here and there. Not all the time, but I feel that she's right. Fumi, you have to step up. You're an American. Don't just glaze over the elephant in the room. And that's the reason why I said I would do this episode. Darlings, I am an awardee on the 4th of October, and that is coming from the Afro-European Awards here in the United Kingdom, London to be specific. I hope to see you there. I will also be hosting the African Fashion Awards on the 27th of October, and it's going to be very glamour and very fabulous. I hope to see you there also. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, and I will see you I will see you sooner than later. All of my love. Yes, I do. Look, back up. Have you noticed that I refuse to give any of this away? It's always sold out. Always what? It's always sold out. So, guys, what do I think about our slippery lime shampoo? Let me show you something. Let me show you something. And for the benefit of other shampoo products, I covered them. I had to do this test because I needed to prove a point. And I don't want to bring up any other product or brand. But these are other shampoos that I've had. Yeah? Okay. So I'm going to take them out one by one. Let me put my slippery slime here. I'm going to bring it out one by one. And I'm going to pour it out for you to see. Yeah? Look at the consistency. Look at the consistency. Okay, that is one. Look at the consistency of this one. Okay. Look at the consistency of this. Oh God. Look at the consistency of this. Look at the consistency of slippery slime shampoo by Healthy Hair Studio, created by a trichologist called ENITAN. It's a beast. It won't even. Just look. If you are asking me, Fumi, a slippery lime shampoo, Healthy Hair Studio, created by tricologist ENITAN. Is it FDV approved? It is absolutely FDV approved. It is absolutely FDV approved. Go right ahead and use my discount code FUMI and get you.